Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Awards Gambit. I am joining you today to discuss my final predictions for the 97th Annual Academy Awards. It's the big night for movie lovers everywhere. The Oscars are just days away on this Sunday, March 2nd. I was going through all the categories today, picking my predictions. I locked them into Gold Derby. I was stressing over a lot of them. I am not very confident in a lot of these predictions, if I'm being completely honest, because so many of these races are going to be very close. But I'm very eager to go over my predictions with you all. And so I think we should just jump right in. I just want to preface this video by breaking it down a little bit and saying that I'm going to try and go a little bit faster through the below the line categories, just because I personally care more about the above the line categories, as I'm sure most of you do. We have some tight races in that below the line categories, and I'm excited to go over them with you all. But I'm definitely going to try and make those as concise as possible and just focus my opinions on the big ones. And so let's go. Let's do it. First up, I'm just going to briefly go over the shorts categories. I have not seen any of these shorts in any of the three categories, but I would like to discuss my predictions for them. So let's start with Best Animated Short Film. The nominees for this category are Beautiful Men, In the Shadow of the Cypress, Magic Candies, Wander to Wonder, and Yuck. For this category, I'm going with Wander to Wonder. I've just heard a lot of good things about that. I think a lot of people are predicting this one. It won the BAFTA for Best British Short, I believe, and I like the title. So for all those reasons, I'm predicting Wander to Wonder to win this category. For Best Documentary Short Film, the nominees are Death by Numbers, I Am Ready, Warden, Incident, Instruments of a Beating Heart, and The Only Girl in the Orchestra. For this category, I'm going with The Only Girl in the Orchestra. I really like the title. It sounds definitely like an interesting and endearing story. I know a lot of people are predicting it to win. Sounds like it's about music. Everybody loves music. Last year, the film that won this category was called The Last Repair Shop, and it was about music. And so for all those reasons, I am going with The Only Girl in the Orchestra to win this category. Up next, for Best Live Action Short Film, the nominees are Alien, Anuja, I'm Not a Robot, The Last Ranger, and The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. For this category, I'm going with Alien. I just feel like they're gonna pick this one because it's so timely. I think about a few years ago, Two Distant Strangers winning this category, and they just like to make statements by predicting timely pieces. I like the title of this one. It's not a long one, but it's interesting. Not sure exactly what it means, but I know it's definitely a play on the word alien. But I definitely wouldn't sleep on The Man Who Cannot Remain Silent. That one has a really cool and a long title. And sometimes the Oscars just like to pick these categories based on their titles, some may say. So I think it's between those two, but I feel good about predicting Alien to win this category. The nominees for Best Visual Effects are Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked. For this category, I'm going with Dune Part 2. Dune Part 1 won this category 3 years ago, and the visual effects in Dune are simply impeccable. I also feel like this category favors Best Picture nominees. I feel like most categories do. And so Dune Part 2 and Wicked are the only Best Picture nominees here. Wicked, I don't believe is going to win this category. I feel like people were hating on the visual effects because they weren't great. I thought they were fine, but I just feel like Dune Part 2 is just so good. It won the Critics' Choice Award in this category, won the BAFTA. And I think about a few years ago, Avatar, The Way of Water winning this category after Avatar had won it like 13 years before. And so I don't feel like they have a phobia of rewarding sequels in the category like visual effects. So I feel good about sticking with Dune Part 2 to win this category. For Best Sound, the nominees are A Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. I'm going with Dune Part 2 here. Dune Part 1 won this category. I think the three films here with music involved are just going to cancel each other out. And I think that The Wild Robot's nomination was the win. That was a really surprising nomination in my opinion. So Dune Part 2 is just, the sound is amazing. I think that this is probably an easy no-brainer in Dune Part 2 in my opinion, so I'm sticking with that here. For Best Makeup and Hairstyling, the nominees are A Different Man, Amelia Perez, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. This one's going to The Substance. It's won basically every precursor with Critics' Choice, BAFTA, the Makeup and Hair Guild, and this is a no-brainer. The Substance is winning this. The makeup and hair in that film was absolutely crazy. You picture Demi Moore in each stage after she wakes up from taking the substance. Every time she just got scarier looking, and that makeup was like so. The detail was crazy, and I think that this is going to be an easy one to predict. The Substance, congratulations, and very deserving. For Best Costume Design, the nominees are A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. I'm going with Wicked for this one. It's been sweeping precursor awards as it should be. The costumes in that movie were absolutely amazing, and not much more to say about this. Congratulations, Wicked. For Best Production Design, the nominees are The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. I am also predicting Wicked to win this category. It's been doing a clean sweep of production design and costume design. I think for this one, there's a very small chance in someone else winning, like The Brutalist. I could see The Brutalist winning this category because it's about architecture and design, and sometimes I feel like the Oscars like to be meta and vote for a movie that's like about that category. And like thinking about a few years ago, Phantom Thread winning costume design. That movie's about costumes and a costume designer, so it made sense that it would win that category. And I feel like it makes sense that The Brutalist would win production design. I mean, the buildings in that film, it's 3.5 hour film, and they had multiple like really cool designs. So I think that could be a spoiler, but I'm not gonna go against Wicked, who's won every precursor, and that production design is amazing. Picture that scene of Dancing Through Life in the library with those circular bookcases, like just really amazing production design. So I am going with Wicked. For Best Cinematography, the nominees are The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, Maria, and Nosferatu. For this category, I'm predicting The Brutalist. I'm not super confident in it. It hasn't been performing well at Guilds. It did win the BAFTA here, and I think it could go to something like Nosferatu or Maria. But in a lot of these categories, I'm just going to be going with a stronger film, and so I do think that The Brutalist had a very strong showing on Oscar nomination morning, 10 nominations. It did have really good cinematography. I think about that shot of the Statue of Liberty where it's like upside down and the score is playing, and it's like amazing. And so I do think that it's going to take it. I wouldn't be that surprised if Maria or Nosferatu won, just because they both have precursor wins. Nosferatu won the Critics' Choice. Maria won a Guild Award. But I feel okay about my prediction with The Brutalist, and I'm defaulting to the stronger film here, so we'll see what happens on Sunday. For Best Film Editing, the nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, and Wicked. This is a tough one. We've seen challengers win a few awards for editing, but as we know, challengers was completely snubbed at the Oscars, no nominations anywhere, which is actually insane. I think this race is definitely narrowed down to Anora and Conclave. Anora's editing is just really, really well done with just chaos all the time, and it's just worked so well, and it's just a lot of editing. Writer, producer, director Sean Baker also edited this film, so I could definitely see that winning. Conclave also has very well done editing. I feel like it's a bit more subtle than Anora, but well done nonetheless. I ultimately decided to go with Conclave here. I think that the BAFTA win is definitely significant. I think the BAFTA calls a lot of close races, as we've seen in recent years, like last year, where it only incorrectly predicted one category. And I feel like we have very little to base this category off of, because the Ace Eddie Awards, which is the Guild Awards for editing, are after the Oscars this year. So we don't know who's winning there. And then, like I said about the challengers wins, it's very hard to predict. So I feel like it's just default Conclave. But Another reason I'm thinking it might win is because all the scenes of the film where they're like voting for the new pope, I feel like those are edited in a really cool way where it's like suspenseful and exciting and scary. And I don't know, I just have a feeling about Conclave. So let's go with Conclave and we'll see what happens on Sunday. For Best Original Song, the nominees are El Mal from Amelia Perez, The Journey from the 6888, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, Mi Camino from Amelia Perez, and Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late. This race is definitely a bit interesting because we have Amelia Perez winning both televised precursors. It won this category for El Mal at Golden Globes and Critics' Choice. And so I think it could definitely win the Oscar. I'm predicting El Mal to win this category. But since the controversies have come out about Amelia Perez post nominations, I feel like a lot of people might be turning away from it. And a lot of people are predicting Diane Warren to win this category. It's like her 16th nomination, I believe. I'm not buying a movie like The 6888 winning an Oscar. That is something I cannot be betting on. And I think El Mal is the safest choice. I personally don't think that the controversies will affect this category. I think that El Mal was a good song. It was a great moment in the movie, especially for Zoe Saldana, who's also nominated. And so I feel good about predicting El Mal, but I wouldn't be totally surprised if something else won, but not The Journey. I think it would be like a Bird from Sing Sing or Ellen John because they love Ellen John. But I don't feel the need to bet against El Mal right now. For Best Original Score, the nominees are The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. This is also an interesting category because, like editing, it has gone to challengers at the Precursor Awards. It's gone to challengers at the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice. And BAFTAs, it went to The Brutalist. I am predicting The Brutalist to win this category. I mean, that movie has such a good score. You can hear it from the trailer, and it's just as good in the movie. It's just heart wrenching. It's powerful. I feel good about predicting it, but I also, at the same time, have just this feeling that there's going to be an upset in this category, but I don't know what it would be. So the fact that there's not a consensus number two makes me just want to predict The Brutalist even more. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with The Brutalist. For Best Animated Feature Film, the nominees are Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. At the beginning of the season, I thought that this category was going to be one to look out for, and there was going to be a race here. And on paper, it does seem like there is a race here between Wallace and Gromit, which won the BAFTA, The Wild Robot, which won the Critics' Choice, and Flow, which won at the Golden Globes. But when we started having more award shows besides those televised precursors, we saw that The Wild Robot swept the Annie Awards. It won every single category it was nominated for. I think it had 9 wins. It also won the PGA for Animated Feature. I just feel like it's going to be The Wild Robot. It was such a good movie. It really tugged at the heartstrings. Lupita Nyong'o gave such an amazing voiceover performance. I don't know. I just feel like Flow's momentum didn't really go any further past the Golden Globe win. I know it also got nominated international feature, but I just didn't really hear much about that movie, and I think The Wild Robot is just too strong at this point. So Wild Robot it is for this one. For Best Documentary Feature Film, the nominees are Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Porcelain War, Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, and Sugarcane. This is a tough one. I was looking at this one earlier and I was just going back and forth between Porcelain War and No Other Land. No Other Land is super timely. It's about an Israeli journalist and a Palestinian journalist who form an allyship, and I don't know much about the movie. I know it doesn't have distribution yet, so that definitely is hurting it. Porcelain War is also very timely. It's about the Ukraine and Russia conflict. It won the PGA Award for Best Documentary, and for that reason and a few other reasons, I'm going with Porcelain War. If it was to win this category, it would be strange that 3 years in a row it has gone to a film about the Russia Ukraine conflict. But I do feel like each of those films were about something different within that conflict, and each of them were unique. And it is an extremely timely topic. That war has been going on for 3 years now. I also, the fact that No Other Land doesn't have distribution and Porcelain War won the PGA, I just feel like it's got to be Porcelain War. So I'm predicting that. But if No Other Land won, I think that would be great to see. So we shall see what occurs this Sunday. For Best International Feature Film, the nominees are I'm Still Here, The Girl with the Needle, Amelia Perez, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, and Flow. This is another tough one. I genuinely am torn between I'm Still Here and Amelia Perez. I'm Still Here getting that Best Picture nomination really threw everything for a curve. I ultimately decided to go with Amelia Perez here. I just feel like the international part of the Academy is not going to care that much about someone's tweets from years ago. I think that also there has been some time for the dust to settle with that. And international feature, it's won everywhere. It got 13 nominations at the Oscars. Basically every single branch nominated Amelia Perez. And so it I just am not going against it. Like, I don't know. I'm Still Here got the Best Picture nomination, and I feel like I'm Still Here is a late breaker. So, like, I feel like maybe people just didn't see I'm Still Here before Fernanda Torres won the Golden Globe. And then after that, like, people were starting to see it. So by the time voting happens, I'm Still Here, like, was definitely gaining stock while Amelia Perez was losing stock. I don't know. I literally was staring at this one like, what do I do? But Emilia Perez is just 13 nominations is crazy. And it's also interesting because this year is unprecedented in that we have never had two international features that were nominated for both Best Picture and Best International Feature Film. So it's hard to say, but Emilia Perez is what I'm going with here. And now we are at the above the line categories. These are the big ones. Some of them are close, some of them are not. So let's get started with Best Adapted Screenplay. The nominees are A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. This one is going to Conclave. It's won so many awards. It won the USC Scripter. It won Golden Globe. It won BAFTA. Critics' Choice. Did not win WGA because it was not eligible. Nickel Boys won the WGA. I don't think Nickel Boys is winning with just that win and only 2 nominations. So Conclave is just, that screenplay was so good to adapt that book into a film, and it's so good. Oh my god. The screenplay was amazing. There's no way it's losing this category. Congrats to Peter Strawn, the writer of Conclave. For Best Original Screenplay, the nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance. This is another tough one. We have split precursors. Critics' Choice went with The Substance. WGA went with Anora. And BAFTA went with A Real Pain. I have no idea what's going on here. Like, I genuinely was just like, what do I even predict? I don't know what to predict. I ultimately decided to go with Anora, which is crazy because I think I've literally predicted Anora to win screenplay at every precursor, and I've been wrong every single time. So, why am I doing this? I just feel like Anora is gonna have a good Oscars night. I don't want to spoil my future categories, but the screenplay for that film was so good. Sean Baker is such a visionary. He really did a good job with that screenplay. There's also a lot of dialogue in that film, and it's funny. I've talked about it so many times when I've predicted it to win at other award shows incorrectly, but I just went with Anora. I think that it's gonna take this one. I mean, I would love to see The Substance win. Most original concept, in my opinion. Critics' Choice win is not nothing. I think more often than not, if there's a split race, it goes with the Critics' Choice win. A Real Pain winning the BAFTA was a huge shocker. That is an American film. It does take place in Europe, so I feel like maybe that helped it. But it did not get into the Best Picture 10, which it is so hard for a movie to win Best Screenplay if its film is not in Best Picture. So that really hurts it. I do think there's a lot of goodwill for Jesse Eisenberg. He's been acting for so long. He's very endearing, and when he gave up to give speeches at the BAFTA, like it was just like a nice moment to see him up there. And so, like, I'm not sleeping on that prediction, but I'm just going with Nora. Like, call me stupid for doing this for the fourth time. And if I get it wrong, like, great. Like, I'd love to see a surprise because Honora is still number one in the odds on Gold Derby. I'm going with Sean Baker for Honora. Now on to the acting categories. We'll start with Best Supporting Actor. The nominees are Yura Borisov for Honora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. Okay, so we don't have to spend that much time talking about this. Kieran Culkin is winning this award. Clean sweep, Golden Globe, Critics' Choice, BAFTA, SAG, done. He won literally so many Critics' Awards. If he lost this category, it would be the most unprecedented thing to ever happen at the Oscars. Like, nobody loses after sweeping unless you're Russell Crowe and you assault somebody at the BAFTAs and put a bad taste in everyone's mouth. Sorry, like, that just doesn't happen. I would love to see a surprise here. Like, that would be so chaotic and awesome. But, like, I am not going to do that. That would be dumb. So, Kieran Culkin, congrats on another win. For Best Supporting Actress, the nominees are Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. Another easy one. Zoe Saldana is winning this. We have a clean sweep. She's not Russell Crowe. She's going to win this category. I don't think any Emilia Perez controversy regarding the lead actress of that film is going to harm her here. I think that she's handled that situation with grace. And she's a veteran actress, even though she's not even that old, but she's been working forever. She's sweeping. Congrats, Zoe Saldana. For Best Actor, the nominees are Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. Now, if you had asked me this question a week ago, I would have said Adrian Brody is winning this category, hands down. But SAG Awards, they threw this category for a curve. So I am still going with Adrian Brody. There is such a small chance that Timothée Chalamet wins. Yes, he won at SAG. That was amazing. I'm so glad that happened because if Adrian Brody won, it would have been so boring. Deserving, but boring. Timothée Chalamet would also be a deserving win. I don't think he's going to win with just a SAG award. Adrian Brody has Golden Globe, Critics' Choice, and BAFTA. The Brutalist got 10 nominations. I have it predicted to win at other categories. It's just such an amazing performance. Yes, he's won an Oscar before, and sometimes I feel like that has hurt people at the Oscars in the past. Not always, but sometimes. And so, I don't know, like, I could definitely see Timothy upsetting, and, like, that would be a really cool moment. The Oscars do love a biopic. But conventional wisdom says predict Adrian Brody, and so I'm going with conventional wisdom this time. We'll see what happens. I definitely think that, like, this is a race, thank God, because the other two acting categories in supporting are just boring. And so I'm glad we have a little bit of excitement in Best Actor now. So we'll see Adrian versus Timothy. I'm going with Adrian, and I'm excited to be right about that or be wrong. We'll see. Best Actress. The nominees are Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison for Honora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. This race. I have a prediction that I put into Gold Derby. Am I confident about this prediction? Not at all. but I'm not confident about anyone winning this category. We have a really, really, really interesting race here between Mikey Madison and Demi Moore and Fernanda Torres. Can't be sleeping on Fernanda Torres. She is such a wild card this season with that Golden Globe win, giving such a good speech. People finally got to see I'm Still Here and see what a great performance she gave. Very traditional film. It's a biopic about real life people, real life events, and she just knocked it out of the park. Her mom is an Oscar nominee in this category. Brazil has been championing her endlessly this entire award season. She definitely has a lot of support, and with I'm Still Here getting that Best Picture nomination, like it could definitely happen. The race is mostly between Mikey and Demi. Mikey has the BAFTA, which is really critical when it comes to Best Actress. Olivia Colman won the BAFTA, where Glenn Close won the other three, and everyone thought Glenn Close was going to win. Olivia Colman won in the end, and so BAFTA is important. It was the only award that Mikey Madison won, the only televised award, but it's a really key one. And it's not like BAFTA just gave Honora everything. It won Best Actress and Best Casting, and that's it. So it didn't even give Sean Baker any of the awards that he's nominated at the Oscars. It only rewarded casting and Best Actress for Mikey Madison. So, like, I am really thinking that Mikey Madison could take this, especially if Honora wins picture, which I am not going to say whether or not I have that predicted yet. You will find out very soon. Ultimately, I did decide to go with Demi Moore because it's just too perfect. That movie is about the industry and how it treats women as they get older versus women who are young, and the race being Mikey versus Demi, an older actress versus a younger actress. It's so meta. It's just insane. Like, Demi Moore has been working in this industry for almost 50 years. She's never been nominated for an Oscar. She's been in so many big movies. She gave such a great performance in The Substance. Some may argue it's a co-lead performance with Margaret Qualley, whereas Honora she is the film, but it's just too perfect. She's been giving the most humble, endearing speeches, speaking so eloquently, and I think those have really helped her. The Golden Globe speech, that surprise win, just unbelievable. Critics' Choice, she followed up with another good speech. She did lose BAFTA, but she's just been such a presence. She has so many friends in the industry. The Substance got 5 nominations, 4 of which were above the line, and it got a Best Picture nomination. Another interesting stat to look at when you're talking about this race, last 2 years, we had crazy, zany performances like Emma Stone in Poor Things and Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once winning in close races. I feel like that could be an indication of support in the Academy for outside the box characters like Bella Baxter and Evelyn Wong. And I feel like Elizabeth Sparkle could fit right into that. And that would make sense if you look at the last 2 years. Going with Demi Moore, you can bet your bottom dollar that my heart will be palpitating like crazy when this category is up at the Oscars on Sunday, because I have no idea what's going to happen. It's going to be a big moment no matter what. It's so exciting. I'm so here for it. All 5 actresses are deserving, but Demi versus Mikey, Fernanda as the wildcard spoiler, it's just going to be great. And no matter what happens, I'll be happy for whoever wins this category, but I am rooting for Demi Moore, for the record. So I'll leave you with that. For Best Director, the nominees are Sean Baker for Honora, Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, James Mangold for A Complete Unknown, Jacques Audiard for Emilia Perez, and Corley Varjah for The Substance. A lot of people may say Sean Baker is taking this in a walk because of the fact that he won the DGA award, which is really good at predicting the Oscars. I think it's only missed like 10% of the time or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but DGA is very good at predicting the Oscars, and Sean Baker won that. There's a lot of support for Honora. However, Brady Corbet's achievement in The Brutalist was, I've talked about it so many times on this channel, but it was just unbelievable. and absolutely stunning. And he won the Golden Globe Award, he won the BAFTA Award. It's definitely between the two of them. I decided to go with Brady Corbet for this category. I incorrectly predicted him for the DGA Awards and the Critics' Choice Awards. He won a BAFTA, but just the DGA stat is so strong. I just have a feeling that he's going to win because of the work. You look at the work and you see the direction of that 3.5 hour film that was made for $6 million. Like, it was just such a feat. And he did give a really great speech at the Golden Globes. And I think that people will remember that. There was something in me that was saying, there's no way that some stats are not going to be broken because there's so much that is unprecedented this year. There is so much uncertainty with these categories. There's a lot going on in the world that's affecting all of these races. And so, for all of those reasons, I decided to go with Brady Corbet over Sean Baker. I also have Sean Baker winning for screenplay, so it's not like he's going home Oscarless if that does happen. So, Brady Corbet, we'll see. I really hope he takes it because such a deserving win if that would happen. But definitely a race here, and I'm excited to watch out for that one on Sunday. And now for the final category, Best Picture. The nominees are Honora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, Wicked. What a year this has been for film. Looking at these films, I can't say that I disliked any of them. I liked them all. I loved some of them. It was a great year for film. It wasn't the best year. Last year was a really strong year, but this year we have so many great films. It seems like it's narrowed down to Honora versus Conclave. We have Conclave winning SAG and BAFTA, both of which were relatively recently. And we have Honora winning PGA and Critics' Choice, and it won the DGA, which are all very key indicators of Best Picture. I was going back and forth for a little bit here, but I do feel like Honora is going to win Best Picture at the Oscars. It's felt like this for a long time. Since the beginning of award season, Honora was the one everyone was predicting for so many different categories. And here we are, months later, at the end of award season, 3 days before the Oscars, predicting Honora to win multiple categories, including Best Picture. Looking at it, you have a stat like PGA, DGA, Critics' Choice. Like, that to me is just like a very important stat. PGA especially because they use the same preferential ballot voting that the Oscars use, where you rank the 10 nominees and then it's not just like you vote for one film, you vote ranking. And so there's this thing where, the film with the least number of number one votes, they eliminate that and they go to that ballot's number two vote and they add that to the tally of number one votes. It's like a really complicated process, but those are the only two ceremonies that use the preferential ballot. And I feel like a lot of people just love Honora. It's a great film. Sean Baker has been doing this for a long time, and I'm pretty sure all of his movies are independent features. So I think people love to champion independent cinema. And so I just have this feeling that Honora is going to win, and it's a strong feeling. And I would be really happy to see it win because it's a deserving film. I loved it. It made me laugh. It gave me the feels at times. Honora is my prediction. An interesting stat that it would break, and I haven't done all the research on this stat, but I wanted to share it with you. I don't remember the last time, if ever, that a film has won Best Picture without winning any Globes or any SAG Awards. So that's something to think about. I was doing it in my head. I don't think it's ever happened. It doesn't really matter that much because the precursors aren't gospel. There's so many factors in a lot of these ceremonies and a lot of these races. But it's interesting to think about Globe and SAG. Honora didn't win any. It didn't do that well at a lot of the televised precursors. Only won one Critics' Choice Award. Yes, it was Best Picture, but only won one for the BAFTAs. It won two, but it didn't win any of the above the line categories for Sean Baker. So it underperformed at every single televised precursor. I think in that way it would break a lot of stats. And that's why I'm saying that this year there's going to be stats broken when talking about picture and director, in my opinion. So we'll see. I'm excited to look out for what's winning earlier in the ceremony, to think about what the film's winning packages are. I think Conclave's definitely winning Best Adapted Screenplay, and so with that, like Conclave could win no matter what. But I think if you start to see Anora missing like original screenplay, actress, director, it's not a great sign. I mean, especially if it loses editing. If you see it win editing and you see it winning a lot, you start to see where the momentum is shifting that evening. And so I don't know. I don't know what to expect. And for that reason, like there's so much exciting going on. Anora, Best Picture. Will we see it? I think we will, but I don't know. So I'd love to hear what you think. Comment what you think is going to win Best Picture. I want to thank you all for sitting through this video because I know it was a long one, but you were all very patient. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. I love to talk about movies. I love to predict award shows. And the Oscars this year, I just feel like were especially exciting. And so doing these videos for you guys was a no-brainer. I'm so appreciative of all of your support, all of you guys that commented, liked, watched, shared. Like, I just am so appreciative. So with that being said, I'm sad that award season is coming to an end, but we still have this exciting weekend ahead of us. Be sure to watch the Oscars on Sunday. It's on ABC and Hulu. This is the first year it's streaming. I'm so happy because I don't have cable. I will definitely be doing some sort of Oscars recap. I might do it live on Sunday. I might do something on Monday. We'll see, but definitely stay tuned for that. And let's hear it for cinema. You gotta love movies. I'm the biggest movie fan, and I'm so excited for the Oscars. I hope you are too. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time on the Awards Gambit.